Sequoia National Park. The big tree is nature's forest masterpiece, and so far as I know, the greatest of living things. Little, however, is to be learned in confused, hurried tourist trips, spending only a poor, noisy hour in a branded grove with a guide. You should go looking and listening alone on long walks through the wild forests and groves in all the seasons of the year. Selected quotes from Chapter 9 of the Sequoia and the General National Parks by John Muir. Continue watching this video for amazing views of the home of the giant trees, Sequoia National Park in Central California. Welcome to Hipfig. If you're a travel enthusiast, then join our community by subscribing to this channel. This is the Beautiful America Travel Guide series for visitors to U.S. national parks, monuments, and natural reserves. This episode is the Sequoia National Park in California Travel Guide for new visitors. Sequoia National Park is located along General's Highway, aka California Highway 198 in Three Rivers, California. It's adjacent and south of Kings Canyon National Park and south of Yosemite National Park. We flew from Seattle to Fresno, California with the airport code FAT and rented a car. For more information on Fresno Yosemite International Airport, FAT, Yosemite National Park, and Kings Canyon National Parks, please check out Hipfig's videos on our website, hipfig.com, or our YouTube travel channel. There are two main entrances into Sequoia National Park, the Ash Mountain entrance to the south and the Big Stump entrance to the north. For longer vehicles, the recommended entrance into Sequoia National Park is the Big Stump entrance on California Highway 180, which is the entrance for Kings Canyon National Park. From this entrance, the road is less steep, wider, and straighter. From the Big Stump entrance of Kings Canyon National Park, you will go through Kings Canyon National Park a few miles and then make a right on General's Highway, which is also called Highway 198. Highway 198 goes through Sequoia National Park to the other entrance, that is the Ash Mountain entrance. If you're staying in the cities of Visalia and Three Rivers, in the summer the Sequoia Shuttle offers trips to the Giant Forest Museum in Sequoia National Park. From Visalia, you can take it at the Exeter and Lemon Cove hotels beginning at 6 a.m. or at Three Rivers at the Comfort Inn and the Three Rivers Museum beginning at 6:55 a.m. The return trips start at 2:30 p.m. with the last trip at 6:30 p.m. A round-trip ticket is $20 per person and includes the park entrance fee. Reservations are required and can be made online through the Sequoia Shuttle reservation system or by calling 287-4453. We drove from Fresno on a beautiful sunny day in summer and followed signs for Highway 198 into the town of Three Rivers. From there, it's 2 miles to the Ash Mountain entrance of Sequoia National Park. The roads from Ash Mountain entrance are very narrow and winding and unpaved in some areas. Vehicles longer than 24 feet are not advised between the Foothills Visitor Center and Potsuisha Campground. Set your GPS from your location and choose the entrance based on your vehicle size. Sequoia is a popular national park, so you'll most likely encounter a line at either entrance of the park. When we arrived in the morning, there was a line, but it went pretty fast. To avoid crowds, arrive on weekdays and arrive early in the morning. Once we got to the Ash Mountain entrance booth, we were greeted by the park ranger. Please make sure that you get a shuttle map along with a map of the park. The fee for Sequoia National Park is $35 per vehicle, including all passengers. An individual entry fee is $20 per person traveling by foot or by bicycle. The pass is valid for 7 days in Sequoia and Kings National Parks and Hume Lake District of Sequoia National Forest, as well as the Giant Sequoia National Monument. There are two visitor centers in Sequoia National Park, the Lodgepole Visitor Center in the north and the Foothills Visitor Center in the south side of Sequoia National Park. The Lodgepole Visitor Center is open from May to mid-October from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. We drove 1 mile from the Ash Mountain entrance to the Foothills Visitor Center. The Foothills Visitor Center is open year-round and generally open from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. in the summer and 9 a.m. to 4 during the rest of the year. There was lots of free parking in the lot adjacent to the small visitor center, but it was filled up very fast. At the Foothills Visitor Center, plan your trip with a ranger, gather hiking information, see exhibits. You can also purchase maps, books, and nature-related gifts, and there is also public restrooms available. In the summer, the lines to speak to a ranger and the lines for the restroom, especially the ladies' restroom, can be very long. Did you know that Sequoia National Park has a cave tour? During the summer months, Crystal Cave tickets may be purchased at the Visitor Center. The tickets sell out very fast at the Visitor Center and online, so we recommend buying them online at least 2 days before your arrival to ensure that you have a spot. If kids are traveling with you, don't forget to pick up a Junior Ranger book to earn a Junior Ranger badge. We left the Visitor Center and drove up the winding road of General's Highway, excited to leave the foothill area to the giant forest and Crystal Cave. Along the way, there are many overlooks which have a view of the surrounding valley with Marble Fork and Ash Peak in the background. We passed Pawisha Campground and Hospital Rock. From this point, you'll see the landscape change with larger trees. The road becomes more narrow and windy, and you'll see more road congestion. Please follow the posted speeds and enjoy the beautiful terrain as you drive from the change of scenery from valley to alpine terrain. Sequoia National Park has two main areas, the Giant Forest and the Crystal Cave. It took us about 30 minutes to drive to the Giant Forest area from the Visitor Center. Congestion on roads and in parking lots is heaviest in the Giant Forest area. The Giant Forest area is the most popular because of the attractions located near here, like the Moro Rock, giant sequoia trees, like the General Sherman Tree, Crescent Meadow, and Crystal Cave. We had several hours to wait before our afternoon reservation for Crystal Cave, so we thought we could go to see the General Sherman Tree and take a hike before our tour, but we were sorely disappointed. Parking lots near popular attractions are often full by noon or earlier. Although there are many designated paved turnouts to park along the road, there was none to be found by the time we got into the area at 10:30 a.m. To help reduce congestion in the Giant Forest area, Sequoia National Park has two large shuttle parking lots near the Lodgepole Campground and on Wolverton Road in the summer. There are signs on the road and rangers who will direct you into the free parking lots. Sequoia National Park shuttles have 4 main shuttle routes inside the park. The orange line stops and starts at the Wolverton Shuttle parking lot. The purple and green route shuttles stop and start at the Lodgepole Shuttle parking lot. From the green line, you can transfer to 2 other main routes, which will take you around to many of its popular attractions. To get to the Giant Forest area, take green route number 1 from the Lodgepole Shuttle parking lot. It departs every half hour starting at 8 a.m. and then every 15 minutes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Stops include the Lodgepole, the General Sherman Tree main trail and parking lot, the General Sherman Tree accessible trail, and the Giant Forest Museum. To get to Moro Rock, take the green shuttle route and exit at the Giant Forest Museum, then transfer to the gray route number 2 to get to the Moro Rock Crescent Meadow area. Saturday and Sunday, this shuttle leaves Giant Forest Museum at 8 a.m. and 8:45 a.m. and then every 10 minutes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. On weekdays, it leaves at 8 a.m. and 8:45 a.m. and then every 20 minutes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Shuttle stops include the Giant Forest Museum, Moro Rock, Crescent Meadow, Autolog, and Tunnel Log. If you want to get to the Lodgepole area, take the purple route number 3 directly from the Lodgepole Shuttle parking lot. Shuttles arrive every 20 minutes from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. It stops at the Lodgepole Visitor Center, the Wusachi Lodge and Restaurant, and the Dorse Campground. The most popular shuttle route is the General Sherman Tree Trails. You can park at the Wolverton Shuttle parking lot and catch the orange shuttle number 4. Free shuttles arrive every 15 minutes from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., connecting Wolverton Picnic Area and the trailhead to the Sherman Tree. The shuttle stops include the General Sherman Tree Main Trail and Parking, General Sherman Accessible Trail, and the Wolverton Trailhead and Picnic Area. We parked in the Wolverton Shuttle parking lot and walked to the bus pickup area. When we arrived, the lines were very long. We probably waited about an hour as each shuttle was full to capacity. Unfortunately, after calculating our time, we realized that we would not be able to make it back to our car in time to drive to the Crystal Caves for our tour. For your information, there are no shuttles to Crystal Caves, so we decided not to take the shuttle. Instead, we decided to have lunch in the picnic area and hiked around the Wolverton Trail. After our hike, we drove back down slowly to the Crystal Caves. We were enjoying the size of the sequoias. We managed to find a parking spot along the highway and walked to a nearby forest of giant sequoias. The sheer magnitude and height of these ancient trees are breathtaking and utterly peaceful. To stand next to these monolithic trees and touch them is amazing. After lingering in this area, we continued back on the road to Crystal Caves. The signs to Crystal Caves are clearly written along General's Highway. Guided tours of Crystal Cave are offered from spring through late summer. Tickets cost $17 per adult with discounts for seniors and kids. We recommend buying tickets online at least 2 days in advance or earlier for weekends and holidays on visitsequoia.com. If tickets are not sold out, they may be available at the visitor centers, but please be aware that tickets are never sold at the cave. At the time of purchase, you will be required to choose a date and time. Please make sure to arrive in time for your tour. Please make sure to wear good non-slip shoes and wear layers as it's a constant 48 degrees Fahrenheit inside the cave. After making a turn into Cave Road, we drove about 7 miles on a windy and narrow road to the parking area. Once we parked our car, we checked in at the small shack near the beginning of the trail to the cave. Please be aware that you cannot bring anything down with you that doesn't fit into a pocket. When our tour time came, we assembled at the top of the trail for our orientation, then disinfected our shoes and began a half-mile trail down the hill to the entrance of Crystal Cave. The trail down is a steep half-mile walk to and from the cave parking area to the entrance of the cave. This is the only way to visit the cave on a guided tour. It will take 20 minutes or more to walk down the trail to the entrance of the cave or to walk back up to the parking lot depending on your pace. As we walked down the trail, we got great views of the valley and a beautiful cascading waterfall near the bottom of the trail. Once at the bottom of the trail, we were introduced to our tour guide and given some instructions during our time inside Crystal Cave. The cave tour will take about an hour. What is Crystal Cave? It's a giant marble cavern polished by subterranean streams, along with interesting shaped curtains of icicle-like stalactites and mounds of stalagmites. When we entered, it was dark, but the walkway inside the cave was lit and mostly easy to walk. There are a few tight and slippery spots, but nothing intense. It was so worth the walk back up the trail. If you have time and physical ability, it is worth the effort. After our time, we got back into the car and drove north to the General Sherman Tree parking lot. Parking for the General Sherman Tree is off Wolverton Road. Signs are clearly marked on the road. Once we parked, we walked to the entrance of the paved 0.4-mile trail down to the Sherman Tree. For your information, if you have a disability parking placard, you can also park in the small lot along General's Highway. There is a wheelchair accessible trail which leads a short distance to the General Sherman Tree. If you don't have a placard but can't manage the walk up or down the main trail, then take the park shuttle to the accessible trail to or from the main parking lot. The 0.4-mile General Sherman Trail, not tail, is mostly paved with steps and descends down. As you walk down the trail to the giant forest sequoia grove, there are benches and signs along the trail explaining the natural history of the giant sequoia. To tell you the truth, the first time I went down this trail, I couldn't figure out the General Sherman Tree among the many sequoias. But further down the trail, you can begin to see the General Sherman tree in its full glory. There is a perfect picture opportunity halfway down the trail. The General Sherman tree cannot be confused when you see it. It's also fenced in to protect the shallow roots. The General Sherman tree is the world's largest tree measured by volume. It stands 270 feet tall and over 36 feet in diameter at the base. Two other popular trails in the area are the Congress Trail, a paved 2-mile loop that begins near the Sherman tree. Then there's the Big Trees Trail, a 1-mile loop around a lush meadow. By the way, there are restrooms available at the main and accessible parking lots of the Sherman Tree Trail. After our time in the General Sherman Big Tree area, we drove back south to visit the Giant Forest Museum. We found parking in the large parking lot across the road from the museum. This is a major stop for the green and orange shuttle stop, so it was full of people waiting for the shuttles. The Giant Forest Museum is open daily year-round, beginning January to mid-March, open from 10 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on weekdays and 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. on winter weekends. Wilderness permits are available at any time from a drop box on the bulletin board outside of the museum. In summer, there are free shuttle runs from the Giant Forest Museum to Moro Rock parking area. On the weekends, the road closest to private vehicles, and the shuttles are the only way to reach Moro Rock and Crescent Meadow. Inside the museum, there are displays, a short film, and restrooms. If you've completed your Junior Ranger book like we did, then you can exchange your Junior Ranger book for a Junior Ranger badge at this location. It was getting late, so after a quick visit inside the museum, we decided to drive to the Moro Rock area. Usually people go and take the gray shuttle bus to get to this area, but it was past 6 p.m. when the shuttle stopped running, so we decided to drive to this section instead. By the time we drove into this area, there was very little traffic, and the lighting was so beautiful that I really enjoyed the slow drive to Moro Rock. Driving to Moro Rock, we passed Crescent Meadow, which is one of the largest meadows in the Sequoia forest. Here you can take a short hike through the log meadow trail which leads to Tharp's Log, a historic log cabin. From Tharp's cabin, if you make a left towards Chimney Tree, then it takes you deeper into the Sequoia forest where you can see possibly wild animals along the trail. Other trails in this area include the Sugar Pine Trail and the Bobcat Point Trail Loop, which explores Indian mortars and a beautiful ridge overlooking the middle fork of the Kaweah River. When we reached the small parking lot of Moro Rock, it was full. Parking here remains full all day, even in the late afternoon and early evening hours. Moro Rock stands thousands of feet above the highway. This gentle granite dome has a concrete and stone stairway with over 350 steps to the top of Moro Rock. There are handrails, and the hike is strenuous, especially in the heat of summer and the higher elevation. But if you do make it to the top of Moro Rock, you can see the forest canopy, the Great Western Divide's peaks, and the San Joaquin Valley to the west. We continued on our journey to the fallen tunnel log of Sequoia National Park. Along the way, we stopped by a fallen tree along the road to take a picture of how enormous the roots were. The tunnel log is a result of a giant sequoia which fell across the Crescent Meadow Road in late 1937. The following summer, a tunnel was cut through the fallen log as a tourist attraction. Before the tree fell, it stood 270 feet high and 21 feet in diameter at the base. It's estimated that the tree is over 2,000 years old. The tunnel is 17 feet wide and 8 feet high. Even at 7 p.m., the tunnel was very busy. We waited in line to take our turn driving through it and then continued driving to finish our time at Sequoia National Park. Please come prepared so that you can enjoy the park fully. There aren't many amenities at Sequoia National Park, so be prepared with a full tank of gas, food, water, and protection from the sun. Sequoia National Park will take at least one full day or more to explore. It's an iconic national park surrounded by ancient monolithic sequoia trees and highly recommended. Happy travels! Go to hipfig.com for more information or go to our Hipfig travel channel on YouTube and be sure to